So hello guys, welcome back to another video. In the last video we saw how we can install Beef framework on any Linux distribution. So in this video we are going to explore how we can use Beef framework to hook browsers and exploit them. So in order to start exploiting the browser, we first need to run Beef framework from our terminal by typing beef -xss and then pressing enter. As soon as Beef starts, we just need to open this web UI URL by right clicking it and then clicking on open link. So as soon as we click on open link, it will be open in the browser and you will be taken to the authentication page. So here you need to enter the default username, which is Beef, and then you need to enter the password which you specified for the brief. So then I will click on login. So as soon as I click on login, here as you can see, this is the interface of Beef. So let's first understand how Beef works. So you actually get a hook URL here, so you can embed this hook code into your HTML page or anywhere you want, and as soon as some browser loads that page, the browser will get hooked into the Beef framework and we will be able to access it from here. Means we will be able to exploit it. So let's try to do this. So here Beef also provides a demo page here which will actually load that particular hook URL, and the browser which loads it will actually be hooked to Beef. So we can try it on some other browser in our same system. So first we will try it on our browser in order to check out the features or the commands which are available in Beef, and then we will see how we can do it on some other machine which is on the same network. So I will just click the right click on this and I will click on copy link address. So now I will just run some other browser. For let's say I will run the Chromium browser here, and I will paste that link into the Chromium browser. So as soon as I paste this link and when I visit this page, so here as soon as I visit this page, this browser should now get hooked inside Beef and we will get it here. So as you can see, in online browsers session, we can see this browser is listed. 127.0.1 is the local host address or the address of our own machine. So this is our own browser which has been hooked here. So let's see what are the options available in Beef. So the first tab here gives the details about the browser. So these are the functionalities which are present in the browser. So this details window will tell us what are the functionalities which are supported by the browser and which are not supported by the browser. And we can also see some additional information like the GPU vendor and a lot more stuff here. So this information can be very useful for information gathering or reconnaissance purpose. So the next tab is logs tab. So this tab particularly shows the logs all the information from the browser of the victim. So this information is basically nothing but what the actions which are being done in that browser. So this tab will capture all those actions and then it will list it here. It will also actually list the commands which we execute on the victim's browser. So in the command section there is a whole bunch of commands, so you can try all the commands. So first let me tell you how to identify which command is working or not. So as soon as you click on some folder, you can see these are the commands which are available to be executed. So there is a circle in the side of every command. So this circle has a color coding. So each color coding means a different thing. So this green color actually means that this command is successfully working on that browser and it can be run on that browser. The white circle means that this command is not tested on the victim's browser and it may or may not work. Orange also means the same thing, and red means that this command will not work on the victim's browser. So we don't have to execute these commands which are in red because we know that it won't work. So we will just focus on green, orange and white commands. So I have listed some very useful commands which you can try to execute using Beef. So the first two commands are alert dialog and prompt screens. So these are basically dialog boxes which the user will see when executed. So let's try to execute them first. So I will type alert here and click on search. So as you can see, this one is present here, create alert dialog. I will click it and then I can enter whatever information I want to display to the user here. So I won't change it. So the text will be Beef alert dialog, and as soon as I click on execute, the victim's browser will give a prompt to the victim showing that message. So let's see if it works. So I will click on execute. Now as you can see, the prompt is here successfully, and we can see the message which we tried to give to the user. So as soon as you click on OK, it will go away. And now let's check what is the difference between that prompt and this alert screen. So basically the difference between an alert screen, a dialog box, and prompt dialog box is that the prompt dialog box also gives the user to enter the information there. So it will display a text box where the user can enter some information, and we will see what the information the user has entered there. So I will type enter anything, and then as soon as I click on execute, it will open another dialog box and it says enter anything, and we have a text box here, so we can actually enter anything here. So I will enter any random number, and then as soon as I click on OK, the input of the victim will be recorded here. So as you can see, this is the input which we gave in the browser. So as whatever input the victim gives on that text field will be retrieved here in Beef. So let's see some other things here. So fake flash update, Google phishing and Pretty Theft are all phishing attacks. So phishing or phishing attacks. So these attacks will basically display a fake page to the user and try to lure the user to in order to do something which we want. So the fake flash update will show that the browser actually needs a flash player update, and as soon as the user tries to download that file, we can serve any file which we want, and the user will download it and execute it on its machine. So let's say for instance I specify or lure the user to download a backdoor file. So the user won't be able to know that it's a fake page, and he or she is downloading a fake backdoor or a malware. So this thing is very useful. So let's see how it works. So here I will just type fake prompt or just fake here, and here as you can see, fake flash update is here. So here in these three sections we can specify anything we want. For instance, I can specify any image which I want to display in order to lure the user. So I will just execute it as it is and see what happens. So as soon as I execute, here as you can see, it's giving a message like an update to Adobe Player, a Flash Player is available. So as soon as the user clicks on install, the user will be redirected to this particular URL, which will make the user download this particular file here. So this is the default thing. We can change it here, and we can specify any other path here. Then the user will be downloading that particular file. So as soon as the user clicks here somewhere, or let's say he or she tries to click on install, then the user will be taken to that page and that file will be downloaded, and when the user executes it, we can get some more additional access to their system and the target will be achieved. So similarly, the Google phishing attack also works. So in Google phishing attack, a fake Gmail page is loaded on the victim's browser, and the victim is learned in entering username and password there for their Gmail account. So let's see how this works. So I will type Google here, and then I will go to this one, which is Google phishing, and then I will execute it here. So as soon as I execute it here, so here as you can see, this has now loaded a fake Google Gmail page. So here there are two boxes, username and password. So if the user enters username and password here, so we will get that data. So let's try to enter something like anything we want, any random data here. So as soon as I click on sign in here, as you can see, it has redirected us to the official Gmail page. So it's giving some error. So I will close this, and it has also hooked back the browser. So here, as soon as we click here and see, we have got the username and password which was entered here. So this is also a phishing attack. So the next thing is Pretty Theft. It is very similar to the first two. It's also a phishing attack, but in this one we have the option to select what kind of prompt we want to give. So here it is. So here we can select it from the drop down menu. So here we have different options like Facebook, LinkedIn, Windows, and we can select anything, and the user will be prompted, and as soon as the user enters some information there, we will get that information in brief. So these are the phishing attacks. So Spider Eye is basically a command which will give us the screenshot of the current window of the user. So as soon as we execute this command, we will get a screenshot of the browser of victim screen. So I will search for Spider, and here is Spider Eye. So I will just click on it, and then I will execute it. So as soon as I execute it, we just need to go here, and it works a little bit slow, so we just need to be patient and wait. So as you can see, it actually worked, and we have got a screenshot here. So in order to view the full screenshot, we can just right click on the image and then click on open image in new tab. And as you can see, we can see the full window of the user. So this is also very useful. So the next three commands are also very useful. So the first one here is the detect social media command. So this command, when executed, will tell us what social media accounts the user has logged in from their browser. So for, let's say for instance, the browser is logged in Facebook. So this command will tell us that Facebook account has been linked in that particular browser, and this information can be useful to us. The next thing is get geolocation. This one is very useful because it will provide us IP address and location of that particular user who executed on whose browser we executed that command. So let's check out that particular thing. So I will type get geo, and here as you can see, we have that option here. So we are going to use this one, which is get geolocation third party. So here we need to specify an API which we want to use. So I will just use this first one, and as soon as I click on execute here, so as you can see, the command has been executed. I have executed this previously also, so it is showing it here. So as soon as I click on this, it will show a lot of very useful information here. So I can't show this information because it's actually very sensitive information and can be used against anyone. So that was for this command. So the next command is the redirect browser. So as soon as the user opens this page, we can redirect them to some other page also by using this command. So I will show you how we can do that. So here I will go to redirect browser, and then here you need to specify which URL you want the user to be redirected to. So we can specify any URL here. I am not changing it. so we are just testing it, so I won't change it. So as soon as I click on execute, the user will be redirected to some other website. But remember one thing, that as soon as the user gets redirected to some other website, we will lose our session with the user, and we won't be able to execute any more commands on the user's browser. So this was the last in our list, so we can actually execute this one and see. So as soon as I click on execute, the victim's browser will be redirected to some other page. So here it is redirected to the B project page which we specified here. So these were some of the very useful commands which are available in B framework. You can also check out the other commands here, because I have told you how you can see which commands are working and which are not. So you can try and test all these commands and see if they are working or not. I will also provide some additional links in the description which you can go and check out, and it will give you some more useful and additional information about Weave framework. So now let's see how we can do this on some other browser. For, let's say for instance, there is another machine which is on the same network and I want to hook the browser of that machine. So in Kali Linux, there is a web server which comes pre-installed in Kali Linux. So we can use that web server in order to hook the browsers on our local network. So for that, let's first go to the directory where the HTML file for that web server is present, so that we can actually edit it. So I will go to this particular location, which is cd var www and HTML. And as soon as I go to this location, I will list all the files, and this is the file we need to edit. So this file is index.html. So I will just edit it using the Nano text editor. So I will just type index.html and then I hit enter. So this is the HTML file. So this file is loaded whenever someone tries to access our web server or the website. So this HTML file, you can change or make changes to this file as per your needs or anything you want. So if you know how to write HTML code, you can actually change it and make it look like some other website. But you need to include the hook here for the Beef, so that we can get the browser hooked in the Beef framework. So I will include it here. So I closed the Beef framework window. So I will just try to execute it again so that I get the hook URL. So here the hook URL will be this. So I just need to copy this and paste it there first. So I will copy it from here and I will paste it inside the HTML file here. So now here I need to change the IP present here to the IP address of my Kali machine. So I will go to that place, and now I will go to the another terminal and see what is the IP address of my Kali machine. So for that I will type ifconfig, and the private network IP address for my machine is 192.168.5.106. So I will enter it here. And then we just need to save this HTML file and then run our server. So for saving this HTML file, we will type Ctrl S and then we will type Ctrl X to exit the editor. So we are done with editing part. Now we just need to run our Kali Linux server. So for that I will write the command service apache to start. So this command will basically run the web server on our private network. So as soon as I click on enter, now our web server is up and running. So this web server can be accessed through any browser on the network. So let's try to do it on our machine only. You can do it on some other machine which is connected to the same network and it will actually work. So I will try to go to my IP address here by typing 192.168 1.5.106, and as you can see, this is the default page of our web server. And let's see if this browser again got hooked or not. So as you can see, it got hooked again. So this is how this can be done on the same network. So that's it for this video. In the next video, we will see how we can hook browsers from different networks. So thanks for watching.